So imagine trying to stick a needle in there. Yeah, not fun. Let's talk about my keloids, part 2. So I feel like the keloids came from a couple things. Firstly, I feel like I was really stressed out at one point, and that turned into like hormonal acne, which progressed into the keloid scars. I also have some hair growth that happens along my jawline as well. Some doctors have said maybe I might have PCOS, but then when I've told them I don't have irregular periods, I was always like counted out. So never really looked further into that because they always made it seem as though the irregular periods was like the biggest basis for PCOS. For the hair growth, I feel like I might have had some ingrown hairs here and there that also might have caused keloids as well. So there are a few things that trigger like the inflammation or the itchiness that I know for certain. So I feel like those I've noticed are definitely triggered by a few things. One is stress. Whenever I'm stressed or like in a stressful situation or emotionally overwhelmed, I start feeling irritated in those areas, like I start itching. Secondly, is like if something is touching it or like scratches against it. And then also another thing that I've noticed is like if I'm consuming way too many sweets. I think, I'm not sure of the sweets, but I feel like I've noticed it at times. But I know for sure stress and like friction against it are things that trigger it. So some of the things that I tried to kind of get rid of my keloids in the beginning. At first, to me, they looked like hypertrophic scars because they weren't like super raised. They were like a little bit raised, but they weren't like, they didn't look like this. So I was like, okay, I don't think it's keloids. The things that I did, I used like aloe vera. That was like more of a soothing thing for me. Like raw aloe vera, I would like put it in the freezer and then like slice it and like just rub it on those areas, and that actually did help for a time with like itchiness and like tenderness and stuff like that. I will say aloe vera is a really good component when you're dealing with just like inflammation, itchiness, stuff like that. Unless you're allergic to it, then I don't recommend it, but for me, it did tend to help in the beginning when I first started noticing the keloids. I tried taking supplements because I know some people have suggested, like in the comments, like to take zinc or take vitamin D. I did take those things. I didn't last long with it. I probably think I was taking like vitamin D and zinc for like maybe like a month. And when I didn't really notice a difference, I just kind of stopped or fell off. A couple of other, I guess you would say, natural things that I tried that weren't like super invasive was like scar tape. I think it's like silicone scar tape, and then also the silicone gel. The thing with the scar tape, I feel like for the keloids at this stage, at the size that they are, they don't really make much of a difference, to be honest. For my keloids, they didn't make much of a difference. And then also, it wasn't really convenient for me as well because, like I said, I do have some hair growth, and some of the hair growth is on like the keloid, and it's like really fine hairs that you can't even really see. And whenever I would take the tape off, it hurt a lot. For me, my keloids are super sensitive and like tender. So like any type of like pain or like scratching or like just anything that can like irritate it is just no bueno for me. I will say though that the tape that I did use, I think I got it from TikTok shop, it did help with like regular like acne bumps like that I would get around my face. I would just pop it on there, leave it on there for like 24 hours. If I needed to replace it, I'd replace it, and it would bring whatever, you know, up to the surface. And the last thing that I tried to help with my keloids is the most obvious thing that all dermatologists recommend: steroid injections. It did work for most of the keloids, especially on this side. Like this side was pretty much got like pretty low and flat, but and this side did too, because this used to be more like inflamed or more bumpy. It's a little bit more smooth in comparison to this. But this one right there, this big kahuna, She wasn't going anywhere. She went down just a little bit with those with those steroid injections. And if you've ever had steroid injections on a keloid, it's extremely uncomfortable, like extremely uncomfortable. And I was getting it done on my face. So just imagine that there was no medication to numb it or anything like that. The only thing that they gave me to try to help was the freeze spray, which was super uncomfortable and cold, and no, it didn't work. They're injecting multiple areas on your face with the steroid injections. It's not just like, okay, we're just doing one injection for this one. No, they're getting multiple points of the keloid. Okay, so imagine that. And this one is really hard towards the bottom. Up here is kind of softer, but towards the bottom right here is hard. So imagine trying to stick a needle in there. Yeah, not fun. Steroid injections, they can work, but the thing that I feel with steroid injections is that they're not a permanent solution. Like, you're gonna end up having to go back if they grow back, which is the case right now. They eventually grew back. The steroid injections, if you have like smaller keloids, maybe they could work for you. For me, they didn't. And I don't know if it's because of the position of my keloids, because they're like in that hormonal area, and it's just also triggered by that as well. Some people do get steroid injections and it works for them. For me, it didn't work. And I think it's because of the area that I have them. So those are the things that I tried as far as like trying to get rid of my keloids in the early stages and also in the later stages. Things that help or have helped to an extent with like itchiness, soreness, inflammation, things like that. One, doing my skin routine twice a day, keeping my face as oily free as possible. Because when it itches, honestly, it's hard not to. And I know I'm not supposed to scratch it, but sometimes it's really hard not to, because it's just like really itchy. Sometimes I do indulge and scratch it, and then it becomes sore and then inflamed. And so it's just a cycle. Now, I do use the silicone gel as well as part of my face routine. And I think that works when I do my skin routine twice a day. If I just do my skin routine once a day and then I leave the silicone gel, my face starts getting kind of itchy because I think the oil buildup maybe. That's one thing I've noticed can make a difference sometimes as well for me. Last but definitely not least, as you all saw, was the warm compress. This keloid right here was like a cyst at one point. I just randomly had got a big ass cyst on my chin, and I'm like, it's like my body was just doing the most. It was doing the most, okay? It was surprising me, and it was doing the most. Long story short, warm compress has helped. Just with soothing in general, it helps and it feels so amazing. It's literally like a warm hug for your face. One of the things that I read that is supposed to help with keloids is ice. And that ice was reminding me of the freeze spray that they sprayed on me when I did the steroid injections. It was just uncomfortable. It's kind of like a burning feeling when I put ice on it. It doesn't feel good. I guess it's supposed to help with the swelling to make it go down, but it just doesn't feel good. So I don't recommend ice because it didn't work for me. It didn't feel good for me. It didn't soothe anything for me. For me, the warm compress is where it's at. 10 out of 10 highlights. So in the next video, I'm going to talk about the things that I plan on trying this year to kind of get rid of this issue for good, because I'm tired of dealing with it. She's gotta go. She's gotta go. Her and her cousins, they gotta go. They gotta leave. They gotta be evicted, because I just want my face back to how it was. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.